So thank you for this comment, right? But I want to speak about something you said, right? The affinity groups become comfort zones. And that is exactly the reason I'm not involved in one. Let me share a real quick story. So, a few years back, maybe, years ago, I'm a young Gen Xer. I am still some young chick who I assume still needed mentorship, which was true. I do need mentorship, and I get mentorship now in this career. I went to this event, and I was new in technology at the time, and I went to this event that was supposed to be for young Black professionals, and apparently I wasn't as young as I thought I was. And so I got in there, and everybody was like 25 and under. And I have to remind myself that I started in my career a lot later than some. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when I really got into digital career spaces. So I get into this room, and it is a bunch of recent college graduates, and they're talking about, tech and, getting involved in technology and this, that, and the other. It was, again, young Black professionals in tech. And this one woman goes around the room and she goes, I went to an HBCU, and I am just so frustrated that the company that I work for does not celebrate Black History Month. And everybody in there was like, oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. We need to do something about that. Da, 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 da. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm looking around the room like, is everybody okay? Like, that's the thing that's really keeping you up at night. Not that they're not paying you fairly, not that you don't have good projects to work on, not that you don't have equity in the work that you're doing amongst your peers. You're mad that they don't celebrate Black History Month because you just came from an HBCU. And so I raised my hand, and again, I looked around the room, and I was about the oldest person in there, in my early 30s. And I said, do you want to celebrate everybody? And she was like, what do you mean? I said, do you want to celebrate everything? And she was like, I don't get your point. I said, do you want to celebrate Asian Island Pacificer Month? Do you want to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month? Do you want to celebrate Pride Month? Do you want to celebrate, name it? Do you want to celebrate it? And the young lady was kind of like, well, not really. I said, well, then you don't get the opportunity to ask them to celebrate yours if you're not unwilling to celebrate theirs. I said, and so some companies, depending on the size of your company, it's probably not there yet to the point that they can afford to or have the bandwidth to be able to celebrate all that they would love to celebrate at an official capacity. And that's when I knew that those types of affinity groups are comfort zones for venting. They're not really about moving the needle, about sharing information, about any of that. And I say that to say I am a leader in groups around training and emerging leaders. And so when I say I am pouring back into young professionals, Black and otherwise, it means that I am pouring into those who are willing to get out of that comfort zone to go get the information that they're seeking. I hope that helps.